If elections were called now, the Team Unity government would retain power. That's according to the latest poll from the Barbados-based Caribbean Research Development Services, Cadres. A press release from Cadres said poll results showed Team Unity having 45% of respondents saying it would likely win majority of the seats in the next general election, and 27% for Labour NRP. 23% of poll respondents would not say or were unsure, and 5% selected another party. Pollster and political analyst Peter Wickham of Cadres spoke to SK Newsline Monday after he issued a press release on the latest poll results.
Which we computed shows that there's been a swing of 7 percentage points in favor of Team Unity and a swing of 8 percentage points away from Labour, which means two things, good and bad for both parties. One is that Team Unity has not yet maximized on the full losses of the Labour Party. And then on the other side, we can say that Team Unity has done reasonably well in terms of being able to capture some of the momentum. And you would appreciate, Andre, that Team Unity was behind in terms of the popular vote at the election. So the fact that it has now matched the popular vote and has improved by what we project to be 7 percentage points means that Team Unity has been given a passing grade, so to speak.
Asked who would win an election if called now, Mr. Wickham suggested that based on the current data, not only would Team Unity retain power, but gain an additional seat or two.
Team Unity can probably capture an additional seat or two on the mainland, and they could reduce the Labour Party to one. As far as the Nevis situation is concerned, I do think that the third seat in Nevis is under substantial threat. The third NRP seat, the sole NRP seat, is under substantial threat based on this current scenario. So that is what you're looking at. Naturally, Dr. Douglas holds the strongest seat. The second strongest will be Ms. Marcella Lightbird, and that's how the scenario is looking. But I don't see a situation in which there will be any recapture in the current scenario. Naturally, as the time passes and we get closer to elections, there will be a possibility that we'll have other polls that may be published, and I look forward to charting the progress of the government.
Meanwhile, the poll results had Team Unity leader Dr. Timothy Harris as a more popular leader than the opposition leader Dr. Denzel Douglas at 37% to 31%, and a leadership approval rating of 56% for Dr. Harris to 40% for Dr. Douglas. SK Newsline asked Mr. Wickham why he thinks this is so.
If you look at leadership across the region now, and you have a cadre of young leaders, you have Gaston Brown in Antigua, you have Prime Minister Chastanet in St. Lucia, you now have Prime Minister Motley in Barbados, you have Prime Minister Holness in Jamaica. I have been arguing for a while that it appears to me as though leadership in the Caribbean is now a youthful enterprise, and you have this cadre of young leaders that seem to be responding well to people using social media, and generally speaking, and I think that St. Kitts is no different. It will be difficult for Dr. Douglas to recapture the momentum that he had, because ultimately the charisma that he traded on in the 1980s is ultimately what he is still trading on. While the goalposts have moved, people's ideas have moved, and I think that several things have moved in a different direction. Dr. Douglas's posture, his language is as muscular as it was in the 1980s, the way that he appeals to people. But what he has to understand is that the politics of St. Kitts and Nevis has changed, and it will be difficult for him to recapture new people using the old methods. Now, clearly his methods are appealing to the base. I mean, that's fine. But the base cannot win you an election, and this is a point that I have been making in relation to the St. Kitts and Nevis scenario for a while, that you are not, the Labour Party cannot continue to do things the way it always did. They need to have a new approach.
According to the press release from Cadres, some 1,000 persons were surveyed across the Federation using face-to-face interviews by a team of interviewers who were instructed to select respondents in all 11 constituencies based on specific age and gender criteria, without respect to the type of house, race, or any other factor. In addition to the standard political questions, respondents were asked an open-ended question on the issue of greatest concern to them. According to the release, 30% of the respondents believed St. Kitts and Nevis is heading in the right direction. 17% said it is heading in the wrong direction. 44% said they were not sure or won't say. Regarding the issue of the preferred leader, 37% said Dr. Harris, 31% had Dr. Douglas, 15% Sean Richards, 12% Mark Brantley, 3% said Marcella Lightbird, 2% Conress Maynard, and 0.2% Lindsey Grant. I'm Andre Huey reporting for SKN Newsline.